Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a first impressions and a bit of a update video, because I want to not just talk about this knife, but I want to talk about the fact that I've got some pretty awesome viewers. So let's go ahead and take a look at the knife first. For those of you who don't recognize this right away, this is a Peter Rassenti custom knife, the Satori. Now this is the mini version of the knife. And I've got to say, this is absolutely beautiful, and I'm super, super stoked to be able to check this thing out. Now, I want to give a shout out to @CompoundGrind over on Instagram. You can follow him there. He posted a picture of this knife along with a couple others. I commented, I don't think it was on Instagram. I think it was actually on Facebook, but he does post on Instagram. Anyway, he posted this knife along with a couple others. I commented about how impressed I was with the knives that he was sharing, and he said, hey, would you like to check some out for review? I'm like, yes, I would. That is amazing. So this is the first knife he sent along. He sent a couple, and I will be getting some more from him. So really, really stoked about that, because he's got some impressive knives. So huge thank you to @CompoundGrind or TJ for sending this along with another knife that I'll show you at the end of the video. So first off, let's take a look at this knife. This is the mini Satori from Peter Rassenti. It has zirconium pocket clip, zirconium pivot collar. It is an integral, which of course Peter is well known for. You can see that really, really cool blade grind, which is one of the things that I have to say really draws me to the Satori. And again, I think you guys have heard me say this over and over again, but I like knives like this where, you know, it's thick, heavy blade stock, but it's ground in such a way that it's still pretty useful. So that's sort of the overview of what we're dealing with here. I guess a part of the overview would be the fact that we are dealing with CPM 154 steel here. So what I want to do is grab you guys a size and weight, talk about this knife just a little more, and then we'll finish off by sharing the other really, really nice knife that TJ was kind enough to send along. So let's grab a quick size here. This knife is going to be 7 5/8 overall. Blade length here. Now the blade length is going to be hard to establish. Hold on, I'm going to have to take this off camera for a second. Sorry about that, guys. But the stop pin is literally right where I need to measure from. So looking like 3 1/4 inches on the blade length. Closed length here is going to be, this I can do on camera, I think, without messing it up too badly. Closed length is going to be just under 4 1/2 inches. You can see that there. So we'll grab a weight on this as well, and then I'll talk about this knife a little, because I could see this particular model being extremely popular. Let's grab the scale. And we have 4.43 ounces on that. I guess we go 4.44 if we're rounding. Shut that guy off. So at this point, you can pretty well say this is going to carry quite comfortably. Most knives of this size, honestly, are going to carry comfortably. And the reason I think this could be really popular is one of the complaints that I've often heard about the large Satori is that it's pretty hefty. And you would expect that. You know, imagine this knife with a full titanium frame lock, integral, which means you're not going to be able to mill out much inside there to save weight. And of course, you've got that fairly hefty blade stock. I will have a measurement on that for you when we do the full review. I just don't have my calipers out, and I'm not going to stop the video to go get them. Anyway, this is a knife that just by its nature is bound to be a little hefty. And so making it in a smaller version is going to appeal to a lot of people. Let me kind of show you a little bit more about this very interesting knife. You've got this nice fuller on the blade, top swedge here, sort of a Spanto style grind. So you've got a flat grind here at the tip, which is going to add strength and durability. Now it still comes down to a fairly fine tip, if I can get that to focus well. But then you've also got a hollow grind here with a bit of a recurve. The great thing about having a hollow grind here is that you're going to do it's going to allow you to do some slicing much more effectively than it would if you had this thick blade stock and a flat grind. Very big sharpening choil here. I don't know on the full size if a finger can fit in there, but you can see there's there's no way I would get a finger into that choil without cutting myself. That said, though, the ergonomics do feel really, really nice. One of my issues, generally speaking, with smaller knives is they're not very hand-filling. They don't feel very comfortable. I don't feel often like I can get much done. That is not the case with this little knife. So there is the Satori. What a gorgeous, gorgeous knife. It is an absolute joy to get to handle something from Peter Rassenti. I'm a huge fan of his. And in fact, now that I've been handling this knife a little bit, I may have to start saving so that when the Spyderco Paisan drops, I'm able to pick one up, because this is so, so cool. And honestly, guys, a Rassenti custom is not really something that's a realistic option for me, especially at this point. But even, you know, it's just not really in my wheelhouse. However, the Paisan is a little more realistic, so long as the Canadian dollar doesn't drop too much more than it has already. Anyway, let's set this knife aside, and I want to talk about the other knife that TJ sent along, and that is this absolutely gorgeous LT Wright. This is such a beautiful knife. And the great thing about having this knife here is that I was actually getting ready in the next few days to do a couple of reviews. A review on this knife. Sorry, you can see the the magnet in the sheath on this knife means that it gets a little bit magnetized itself. But I want to be able to review these two knives in the very near future, and I'll be able to use this as a comparison, since number one, this is such a well-loved knife and people are so familiar with it. It'll work really well as an extra comparison knife when I do the reviews on these others. Let me put that away and sign off by saying thank you so much to TJ for sending these amazing knives along. I've already gotten a whole lot of joy just from checking them out. Let's bring that Satori in one more time. That is such an impressive knife, guys. Yeah, pretty stoked about that. Look for the full review of this knife coming up in the not too distant future. And I will try to put a bit of a rush on that, because there's really nobody out there talking about the mini Satori. There's a lot of videos about the full size. As I said, I can really see a place in the market for this smaller version, as it's going to be just a little more carryable. One last look at the impressive work on that knife. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Of course, you got it. You've got to if you don't want to miss the full review on this guy. And we will talk to you soon.